Hey guys, my name is Jen Carrasco. I am a serial entrepreneur, founder of many six-figure businesses. I am also a skincare creator, an IFBB pro athlete that is extremely passionate about helping entrepreneurs grow their business and, most importantly, helping you and everybody else to own their shit. Welcome to Own Your Shit, the podcast. This is the show where we stop the comparison cycle, we eliminate the need for a secret sauce, and realize that the faster we own the way we stand in our own way, the faster and shorter the route is to creating that life we all crave. So, with that being said, now let's own your own shit. Hey guys, and welcome back to Own Your Own Shit with Jen Carrasco. And as you know, I only have amazing, badass people on this podcast, right? And so before we start, and I let her introduce herself, I want to ask that you please share, rate, review. That way we can get this out there, because all of these podcasts are filled with so much nuggets and so many little tidbits for you to excel in so many different areas in your life. So with that said, I am going to introduce the menopause queen right here, and I will let her take the lead. Go ahead, love.
Jen, I love the name of this show. There was no way I would say no to the offer to be on this show. Own your own shit. That's what needs to get done. Hello, everybody. I am Gianna Miceli, Gianna like Versace. I call myself the menopause master. I'll take queen, though. I would like to have both those titles. And I'm a gal that was living life just like a normal person. People said I looked good for my age when I turned 40, and a lady suggested I write a book about, looking good for over 40. I'm from the Midwest. We don't know all the kind of beauty secrets that are in like LA and New York. And I had just moved to New York, not just, but I moved to New York when I was 34. So I didn't even know people get blowouts. Like I didn't even know what this stuff. So this book started to be like just beauty secrets and things that I did. But the year that I started to write this book, I started packing on the pounds and feeling very run down. And I like to say fat, sick, and tired. And I didn't know why this was happening or what the hell was going on. And I saw 5 doctors over 4 years and spent over $18,000, and they had no answers except take these drugs and only eat 800 calories a day. And that only made me more fat, more sick, more tired. And then I got angry. And you should be angry, because my information reveals what doctors will not ever tell you about menopause. I like to say it's not the menopause menu, it's not the menopause, it's the metabolics, and no doctors even go into this information. So I found out how to so-called cure myself by changing what I ate and some mild supplementation. And I did that by searching for the root cause of every one of my symptoms. I very strongly take the stance that there are not 34 arduous symptoms that belong to menopause, that it's a lie, it's a fraud, it's an industry, and they're looking for vulnerable women to prey on. And you, my dear menopause lady, are the people they're looking for. That's a mouthful, right?
Well, it's true. And it's anything with media, right? I mean, I'm in the health industry just like you are, but I'm also in the beauty industry, right? And so I create formulas for skincare, and I look at all of the shit that people are putting on their skin and everything that is thrown down our throats of what we should be doing to our skin, like lasers, constant peels, constant exfoliation, retin-A's. And I'm like, that is the worst possible thing you guys could be doing for your skin. Like
Right.
the worst thing ever. And yeah, it causes
start with the food,
right? And so I know that the viewers are going to want to know. So what was the root cause of all of these symptoms for yourself? What were they?
What I believe within the pit of my soul is that at 34, I had the love of my life killed himself. And obviously that's very stressful. I'm the person who found him dead. It was obviously the most horrible thing that happened in my life. And I began to get acne, like chronic cystic acne, which you would think it's just from stress. But I come from a mother with chronic cystic acne all her life. So in my head at the time, I was like, oh my God, I'm turning into my mother. And, I wasn't doing anything that I would consider to be bad. Like cystic acne is not acne because your makeup brushes are dirty. It's something very different. So what do? You go to a doctor. I go to this women's health clinic right at the end of my street. I need help. I'm in the beauty business in New York City. It's competitive. I have to look and feel beautiful and confident. And they write you a prescription. And of course, you get low dose antibiotic and you take it for 6 weeks or something. And then you think it's going to cure something, but the acne just came back. So I got it again. And I just ended up staying on it for 9 years. Yep. So now fast forward, bringing me into my 40s. And when this weight loss, this weight gain started to happen to me, what I know now that I didn't know then is that all those years on that antibiotic destroyed my gut health, destroyed my good gut health. That's where the hormone messaging center happens. That's where everything is, like the command center that tells your body to do everything. And mine was destroyed because I'm not a junk food eater. I'm not irresponsible, but just normal life was making the meals that I chose put the weight on me, and very, very quickly, and nothing would get it off. Not dieting, counting calories, cardio, boxing, private trainers. And by the time I was 40 pounds overweight at the max. And when you see that scale go up, it's like, oh my God, another 5 pounds. And then none of your clothes fit. Like you have to get dressed and everything's on the floor and you're putting on black stretchy things that cover your butt and your stomach. And you're trying to go to New York City and do something. That's devastating. It doesn't sound like it is, but you have to get dressed every day. You have to eat every day, and nothing was working. And then I took myself to, you get to the point after 2 and 3 years and thousands of dollars, you go to one of those medical weight loss places. And I did. And I thought, well, maybe this is menopause, because I got a hot flash. And I thought, first I read those Suzanne Summers books. I thought she had all the answers, but I didn't agree with anything. I like Suzanne. I don't agree with the protocol. I don't agree with hormones. They're completely illogical to me. And like I said, everything that I knew then versus what I know now, I'm 13 years later, I'm 54 now. I am balls to the walls, confident about my information. I walk the talk. I don't just like, oh, do this. No, I look and feel amazing. I don't ever do any anti-aging things. And you go to those medical centers and they starve you, and it's a lot of money. It's $3,000 to start. It's $250 a week. And that was back then. God only knows what it is now. That was at least 10 years ago for me. You have to buy the boxed MetaFast food. You go in for the weekly weigh-in, which is on one of those Tanita machines, which I don't even really think is accurate. And then you get a B12 shot for $75, which you could buy at a health food store for like $10. So it's absolute robbery. And it wasn't until through the beauty business, I met this amazing woman who was a naturopath who was getting a TV show. So I was helping her improve her image and her look. And I just started to vent about, I just couldn't get this weight off. And she put me on the path that finally I did everything she said. I threw out what she told me not to eat, and I ate what she told me to eat. And the first week I lost 7 pounds. Nice. And that was the first time I had seen the needle on the scale move in 4 years. And I was like, wow, I'm going to lose all this weight in just 5 more weeks, because you think you can lose 7 pounds every week. But that's the kickstart, which is pretty fantastic. Doesn't matter. It's wonderful. And then, of course, it slows down and it gets harder the closer you get to your goal, but it's possible. And I've never had to work hard to maintain it. And there was a time like 2018 that I dropped another 2 sizes without even trying, just in optimizing my health. And so I have a pair of jeans that I bought in 2005 that were too tight. I could button them, but I couldn't wear them out, but they were really, really cool. I bought them on Melrose in LA. And oh my God, I have these jeans. And when you tell yourself, I'll get into them. And I didn't get into them for years. And I think it was 2019, just before COVID. It was turning into the fall and I had moved to New York. So let me see what's going on with these jeans. And not only did they fit, they were too big. And that was just, I did a video called Having a Jean-gasm, because not only, I like them a little bit loose, I'm sick of these tight jeans, that not only were they loose, but they looked amazing. I needed a belt. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. I didn't even know they would be loose. Because sometimes you look in the mirror and you don't see, how you might still see yourself as a kind of heavy person. So it's very exciting, and it's totally possible that over 40 and even over 50, you can lose weight without dieting, counting calories, or suffering.
Yeah. So what did you find out that were your root causes of the inflammation or your body not letting go of that?
I would attribute it to the poor gut health. So part of what I teach is optimal health, that it's all interrelated. And the reason I'm completely against hormones is that you can never regulate the way a hormone works because it's individual with everybody. And I could talk for days, and I know we cannot do this for days, but I have books. A hormone is a feedback loop. So say when you eat something, it sends out insulin. Insulin's a hormone. It sends it out from the pancreas, and it doesn't stop sending it out until the feedback loop completes. Or, and because we have toxins blocking the cells, it's not completing the feedback loop. And that's how people end up becoming insulin resistant. Well, it's the same with all the other hormones. Mm-hmm. So when our ovaries are shutting down from making the progesterone and the estrogen, I researched, what does it do? I found a doctor that said what I said. I did not make up this opinion, that menopause is the biggest fraud perpetrated on American women in the past 80, 90, now 100 years. If you go back and look at what they were doing, it was always a drug in search of a market. Like, where are we going to do this? And once the Rockefellers, figured out they could make drugs from petrochemicals, they literally spent $100 million 100 years ago, that's $1 bazillion, to take over the medical community and say that naturopathy was quackery, and this is the new way it's going to be, a pill for an ill. What are your symptoms? Here you go. And even in the modern age, it's all done through AI, that before you even see your doctor, an AI goes into the doctor's, I think that's called a EMR. It's the database that holds, this Rebecca's coming and these are her symptoms. And the AI is going to tell the doctor, this is what she likely has, and these are the prescriptions to prescribe. And that's always going to be their goal.
Yeah.
So someone prints that out in the morning and is going to put it in Rebecca's chart that's going to hang on the door. And when that doctor comes in, he doesn't even need to be a doctor anymore. I mean, they have the ultimate discretion, but there's already something telling them this is what they want you to prescribe.
Yeah,
that's the main goal. And they just don't know the cause and effect of nutrition. And one of the things that I talk about when I do talks is the symptoms of Hashimoto's and the symptoms of perimenopause misery and the symptoms of being selenium deficient are all the same symptoms.
Yeah.
But with Hashimoto's, they want to label you. They're going to give you Wellbutrin, Synthroid, or Armour. They're going to maybe put you on phentermine. I think that might be illegal now, but there's always going to be a plethora, and they never get to the root cause.
Yeah.
And maybe you just need selenium.
Yeah. So if women are listening to this today and they're wanting to make just one, a couple steps into their health, and what do you suggest, like, for food in general, or supplements on top of that? Like, what are the things that they can do to start that process to help them to heal their gut, heal the inflammation, and what foods to stay away from, what they should start doing, and maybe possibly the supplements that they need to start adding in?
Well, the number one thing I would like to wave a magic wand and get all the ladies to do is to quit coffee. And I am met with such roaring anger with that. And coffee is an indirect cause of the hysterectomy industry. It's an industry. There's 500 to 700,000 hysterectomies performed in the United States each year, and only 10% of them have to do with cancer. Now, you go to a doctor, you're bleeding, you have issues, you have fibroids. Now, the doctor's like, oh, we'll take out, whichever parts he decides to take out, he or she. Did they solve the problem that you now no longer have fibroids? Sure, they did. But now you have different problems that, one, they may not even educate you about. And just because you're not going to have a baby again does not mean you should have a $30,000 invasive surgery. So when you're medicating yourself with this coffee, and every day that you have it, it is a drip on your central nervous system. And when something is activating your central nervous system, it's rising your cortisol. Mm-hmm. And this now becomes the mortal enemy of women over 40, because when we begin to go in this decade, it's a decade of perimenopause until you get to the menopause. And even then some, like I still hear from women that are years past and they might still get hot flashes and some things. Everything inside your metabolics, that's like your liver, your adrenals, your thyroid, everything is like a symphony orchestra. When one is out of tune, they're all out of tune. So when if you understand the purpose of the estrogen and the progesterone, if you read my books, these are the symptoms of they're basically, I don't have my period anymore. What do they call it? Like premenstrual misery is like this boom, boom, boom system. And then your progesterone's lowering faster than your estrogen. And if you're already overweight, you're definitely estrogen dominant. They're all going to tell you, oh, you need estrogen. No, you don't need estrogen, but you have less progesterone that sweeps away. When you don't conceive, it sweeps away those things. Now you don't have it. Now you're drinking coffee and you're burning your adrenals. Your adrenals are going to borrow progesterone, but you don't have any anymore. And so it's elevating your misery and all these symptoms. You can always go back to coffee, but what I like to say to ladies is quit for 30 days and watch what happens. And I have a podcast that's just like 13 minutes long. I'm literally just reading testimonies from women who have quit coffee, where it enhances your sleep. There's so many women with anxiety, like 1 in 4 women today in the United States that are adults take antidepressants. They have anxiety, depression, can't sleep, coffee, coffee, coffee. Everything goes down to what is in your menu and your gut health system, your ecosystem that is allowing your body to produce. You have to eat tryptophan. It's the precursor to serotonin, and serotonin makes you feel good. And it's explained in much detail in my book, The Menopausal Weight Loss Masterclass. So it's not just one thing. So what I like to do when I start to work with women is we're going to analyze what's your metabolics, and we're going to figure out what you need. And so things like, you don't need blood tests for all this. We can look at symptoms. We can look at your temperature, your daily temperature, the pH of your urine and your saliva. We can look at your heart rate and your blood pressure and your resting pulse. And that is so much information that tells me what is happening from the moment you put food in your mouth till the exit systems and everything that happens in between. Because even if you start to clean up your diet now, your menu, I don't like to say diet, even if you start to clean it up, is your body prepared to absorb it? And if it's not, we have to fix that first. So you talked about what could they do? There's a supplement that I love. One of my gold standard supplements is alkaline structured silver. I supply all these things on my membership store. I have a menopause membership where everything that I know, I love, and I personally use is for sale at wholesale prices. So that is like sending in the firemen, like we're going to put out the fire in your gut health. And then we start with some other supplementation like pre and probiotics. That's like sending in the paramedics to do the repair. So we want to start repairing, change the menu, and then your systems start working, like the cogs in the systems, they all start working optimally. Then down the road, once you're repaired, you don't have to have such a strict menu because your body is able to process it because it's digesting, it's sorting it out, and it's just working right. And that's why I say there's no suffering.
Yeah. Yeah. So how about green tea? How do you feel about like green tea?
I would prefer not to have any caffeine, but if you're going to have caffeine or you need a hot drink, it only has 20 milligrams of caffeine. And it's really good. I'm about to launch next month. I'm moving. So once I get settled and make, I got to make landing pages and documents and things. I am launching a product that I don't own the product, but it's supplied by the people I like to buy my products from. It is an amazing coffee substitute. It's mocha flavored. It can be consumed hot or cold. It only has 20 milligrams of caffeine, so you get a teeny bit of boost, but it is so good for you. It's just like the most optimal thing that women should be taking to get their systems working. I'm really excited to launch this quit coffee, and not just survive, but thrive. I haven't figured out what I'm going to call it or anything, but it's going to replace that and help your body start working optimally, get you losing weight and feeling great.
Awesome. So before we end this, so I know that we talked about coffee. What are just like off the wall, like what are some top food choices they need to nick, and what supplements should they be adding into their daily routine?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes that women are making is turning to a plant-based diet. Protein is the most vital source for everything about your body. And the thing that I worry about, it's not, can I fit into a bikini today? That's great. I can. but I'm 54. What is my body going to be like at 64 and 74? And, we probably all know that women are more susceptible to falling, they're breaking hips. Once a woman, an elderly senior woman breaks her hip, she generally dies within 2 years. That doesn't have to happen. They will tell you that this HRT, you need this HRT, you need estrogen for your bones. That's not the way it works. That is propaganda and a fallacy. You can't take a calcium supplement and expect it to do what food is supposed to do. And I'm an ex-vegan. I was vegan for 8 years, and I thought it was the right thing to do because that's what people find. I never believed the hype that you would run out of minerals, but the minerals are really more important than your vitamins because they're making the bones. And I got turned on to some fantastic doctors, a biomedical engineer, Dr. Jaquish, who's cured his mother. It took him 18 months. He really did the research on how to reverse his mother's osteoporosis. I believe she was 70 when this happened. And they can, test your bones and test your density. He reversed her over 18 months into having the bones of a 35-year-old.
Nice.
So
How much
more than being skinny,
Yeah. How much protein? I mean, I know off my hand, but I want you to speak. How much protein do you tell women that they should be taking as they're getting older?
I don't deal in those specifics. I work off the hormones, like your body will tell you what it needs. So one of the first things when I help women repair is we're going to get to your true hunger. So we've got to remove all the fake foods that are spiking your insulin, causing cravings. So many people think they're going to starve, but what they don't understand is when you do change the menu, I like to say it's 50% effort and 50% your gut health is going to change. That once you start doing the things I said to clean the gut health, you're no longer going to have those cravings. So I want you to eat when you're hungry to satisfaction.
Yeah.
And that should not include snacking. I never snack. It doesn't even occur to me. I have 2 really fantastic meals. And when you're not eating those little small meals, like I wouldn't count calories or even deal with that. Your hormones in your body are really going to tell you what you need.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
You're not going to be hungry and you're just going to be feeling good because you're eating to satisfaction. You're eating, good 500, 600, 700 calorie meals. Those are really yummy. I don't need a 200 calorie meal.
Yeah. So
what
is your top meat choice for somebody to consume?
The steak is the best bang for your buck.
Yes, absolutely.
The most nutrition, the most absorption.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is, are you getting your essential aminos? That's a big part of my program are you getting the essential aminos? And every day that you're not getting all the essential aminos, it's the slow degradation of the metabolic processes. So I go into my book, I talk about I never, ever utter the words, I'm feeling old. I can run, jump, take the stairs, ride a bike. There's no athletic endeavor that scares me. My skin is great. My nails are great. It's not, even though that's superficial, it's a very good indication that your nutrition is on point. There's so many women that are accepting hair loss and things that just don't work anymore. And they're like, oh, I'm just getting older. No, you're just making yourself older. That's a choice. Yeah. Of course, you have to get older. You don't have to grow older. Aging is a choice.
So give me 3 foods on your top list that people need to throw in the trash today.
Well, the food. Oh, do we count coffee? Processed food. We all know this. Processed food, Franken foods. My friend and I were discussing, there's just, people are so different today. And we're like, they're medicated. I was thinking about this morning as I walked. Salt, oil, sugar, SOS. That is the pleasure trap. Those are designed to activate pleasure receptors. So you just keep eating them. Yeah. And the more you can get into real optimal nutrition. So let's say the processed foods. It's been so long since I eat crap. Vegetables are very overrated and they really do nothing for you. I know that's very controversial. I can back it up with the science. And ice cream. I like ice cream. I had an ice cream yesterday, but it's very occasional. Yeah. I know people that eat ice cream every single day. Every night they're at the TV, they're watching their shows and they just spoon it. And because it's frozen, if you tasted it when it was not frozen, it's so sweet that it's like unpalatable. But when it's frozen, it has less sweetness. And so you can just keep spooning it more and more. I mean, it's made that way. There are people in white lab coats that design these foods for you to keep shoveling them in your mouth.
Yeah. So top 3 supplements that you think that should be in somebody's daily diet.
For the ladies over 40, protein aminos, essential fatty acids, and nascent iodine.
Okay, nice.
You want to be caring for your thyroid. Your thyroid's like at the top of the triangle of hormones, like your pituitary gland and then your thyroid. It controls everything. And it works in conjunction when your estrogens run out of your ovaries, the adrenals pick up the slack via Mother Nature. That's the plan. When you're no longer reproductive, the adrenals pick up the slack, making estrogen and progesterone. So when they tell you need HRT, that's bullshit. Being low in estrogen is not the same as being lower. Of course you're lower. Your body knows you've run out of eggs. You do not need the same capacity as when your body is expecting you're going to conceive a child every month. It is so simple. So you don't have to say, listen to me, I'm telling you the facts. I ask you to use your logic.
Yeah. Awesome. So where can people find you to get more information?
To get the information, I have made it very simple. mastermenopause.com is, you can get my free guide called The Truth About HRT, BHRT, and Natural Menopause. I think it's called Remedies. I have 4 books, giannamiceli.com. I have videos, podcasts, everything's under giannamiceli.com. You can get to everything. It's Miceli with 1 L. I'm on all social media. I'm sure if you Google Gianna and menopause that you'll find me. I'm very Googleable.
Googleable? Okay.
Googleable.
Thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time and sitting with us.
Thank you for having me, Jen. I think your stuff is great. I love your Instagram. You're super fun.
Thank you. You gave so much information, which I think is super beneficial to a lot of women. So you guys go follow her, go check her out. I'm going to put all of her information in this as well. So you'll get all of that. But with that, again, I want to say thank you. And I appreciate you for taking your time.
Thank you. I think we did good containing me.
Well, guys, that's a wrap for another episode of Own Your Own Shit. Now that this is half the battle, owning your shit allows you the freedom to create something even better in your life. Getting out of your own way, it doesn't have to be lonely. Making sure to follow me for more advice. Follow me on every social media platform at Jen Carrasco. My Instagram is Jen Carrasco with 2 underscores. Find me on Facebook at the same name. And of course, share the episode with friends who need some help in the tough times and typically helping them to own their shit. So with that being said, see you guys next week.